Ayo. Ay, ayo. Oh my gosh. Her face has not yet absorbed the moisturizer or something. Is this dewy or oily? Or both? The sheen is here. Oh my goodness. Good evening? Is it evening? It's kind of like, it's already 10:30, so Good Friday's Eve. That's how I'm gonna say it. Tomorrow is Friday. I'm going to New York in less than 1 week. It's happening. So, to tell a story. Where do I begin? I am beginning to wind down. I have my chamomile, well-rested herbal tea, and my little Princess Peach bug, and I'm gonna read a chapter in this book, the last chapter in The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron, and today I ticked off everything in my checklist that I wanted to do and more. I'm very proud of you, Diana. Very, very proud of you. You did the things. And oh my gosh. So, I may or may not upload a video in which I talked a little bit about this as well. I may or may not do that. However, for the purpose and context of this video, I'll just keep each container separate. Earlier today, I started doing these video journals, right? Of like things that I wish my younger self knew. And I'm starting to realize a lot of these things I'm talking about, like people are selling them in courses, teaching them in schools, and for money and stuff. And because of my situation on an F1 student visa in the US at this 3 decades into my life, I'm going to offer them as life experience and stories for the price of your attention on my channel. It's not free. I don't believe that. I mean, you're paying attention, right? If you're listening to this, you're paying attention to what I'm saying. And time is one of our most valuable assets and resources as human beings on this earth. So yeah, if you're playing this in the background, fine, that's good. It's kind of what I intended, actually. You know, I intended to create these sorts of things. I probably will make a podcast thing, potentially. I don't know. I like the whole idea of having the video there. You know, these are, I mean, because it's something I do. I put on anime and long form series, right? Is it long? Well, like a 2 hour vertical short movie while I'm washing the dishes. You know, I'm doing the laundry, and I like this sort of slow social media kind of content. 也许是因为我是华人，所以我就喜欢听来龙去脉, right? Maybe it's because I'm Chinese and I love to know. Like, I'm not sure if you've ever seen a Chinese drama. Like, we do 50, 60 episodes with the ins and outs of someone's life story, and not even that, if they 重生, if they're reborn, you'll see the reason why they decided to come back. You'll see the history of their past lives, and you'll see all the reasons why the villain is the villain, you know, and why the hero is a hero. And, you know, sometimes it's like the anti-heroes and the unexpected plot twist. Person you thought was a villain turns out to be the hero, and you will know why by the end of the series. This person, it really does feel like a real person, no matter how good or bad the acting or unbelievable whatever the rest of the drama is, because they pay so much attention to the details in the story. That story, you would actually, watching the series, believe that someone like this existed in some form or other. If it's not the time period and the dynasty, it's like the character, the 性质, the personality of a human being would, yeah, because of the detail in the art. And how funny, this is the theme I'm going through at the moment. Life is in the details. Art is in the details. And I'm thinking about what I would like to talk about tonight, because I will probably upload this video before I even touch the other one that I filmed today. That was very vulnerable for me. Let's talk about this process of being vulnerable and being seen on the internet and in public, because this is something that is very new to me, you know? Because I'm a stage actor and dancer, solo performer in the past. And the beauty of the stage is the anonymity that an actor can really keep, right? I can go home and you may not even check the playbill to see who actually created Viola tonight in that Shakespeare play, right? You just remember the human being that was on stage, and you remember the name of the character. So coming on this internet and intentionally associating my English birth name with my passion and love for the craft of acting, and sharing my stories from the perspective of an actor, it's quite intimidating, you know? TikTok actually helped me build confidence in this, in just being. Because people post the most random and interesting things on that platform. And I think something about that ingenuity, is that the word? The novelty, the innocence in that. I just was like, okay, YOLO, bro. You gave me a 10-minute filming window. I'm just gonna see what the universe inspires me to say today as an actor and just say it. I don't really care who's watching, really, as long as it's another human being and they see me as a human being sharing experiences from my life and as an actor, you know? So I'm gonna create a playlist and add this video into it, as well as the first kind of video in this playlist would really be the one where I talked about deactivating LinkedIn and what I'm doing and how I'm preparing to go back onto that platform. Because yeah, this is kind of what I want to talk about today. Approaching the professional world and finances as an actor. Because if I see another business of acting course which does not actually spill the tea and talk the truth, speak the speech about what it's like to be an international student of color, you can feel the energy. I might flip the table. I might flip my, she might lose it. I'm having a bit of a rabbit nose right now. Having a little bit of sniffles. My sinus is just, I think the steam is opening up the breathing or something. But so I'm gonna share this, I guess, in my video journal earlier today. I talked about this theme of don't think about the money, focus on the craft. But really, I'm gonna title that video, Don't Worry About the Money, Focus on the Craft. Because there's truth to it. So I decided to come on this here internet and think, how can I focus on my craft? How can I bring what I've learned out into the world as an actor? Because if I do release that video journal that I made, predominantly from my younger self, you can't tell a Chinese woman not to think about money. You cannot do that. It makes no sense. You can tell me don't worry about the money. Don't waste your time living in fear. Yes, I get that. I actually fully understand that now. Living this life, leaning into the craft, and now actually being accompanied by, coming across this book and finding words for these things I was going through. I don't need to buy another course that tell me that. I don't have to like go to school and listen to someone getting paid to act tell me not to worry about the finances of when literally the bar for me as an international student is much higher than someone born in this country and in the West. Not only do I have to like face the same problems that people like, I just watched this clip of an interview with Tom Hiddleston. He talks about protecting and respecting the time and energy you've invested into preparing for even auditions and these any opportunity to perform short films, blah blah. Only you as an actor know what you brought to that. Yes, but my friend, this guy, like, now I know, it's not invalid when my parents and people in my society and people of their generation who grew up without this internet, when they have valid fears and questions of like, what makes you think they will treat you as more than a token Asian? I mean, they didn't say that to my face, but it's a subtext. What makes, it's because I realized that generation, and I see this in documentary series and interviews, like that generation, a lot of them went through the whole experience of being discriminated against no matter how good they are at what they do. They will always be Chinese, And I'm quoting a guy that from an interview, literally some born in the US, was a doctor, literally always faced the same problem. But also I kind of like earlier in another video on this channel, I talk very honestly about the whole experience of this and being like, okay lah, I'm Chinese lah, so what? Am I supposed to be ashamed? 为什么不要脸？我的脸在这儿. Okay, my face is right here. Do you see? This is a very Chinese face. I'm very happy with it. I have no problems with my face. I have no problems with my eyes either. There are a lot of Chinese boys who have problems with my eyes. Let them. 让着呗，都不是我的菜. You know what I mean? I don't even think they're attractive, so why should I care if they think I'm attractive or not? Have they invested in me to make me want to put in an investment to look pretty for them? To cut my eyelids for them? Why 我的脸在这儿, Maybe my 脸皮 maybe my skin is thick, maybe my face is right here. I have face. I don't care. I'm Chinese. And then does it, you tell me, does it, and I've seen this before, and I think that's why sometimes people can, I felt the like fear of the intimidation, and I look back and I realized, wow, I saw this human being as a human being, and they saw me as a threat for no reason in a competition that only existed in their head. I'm so confused, and sometimes it took me a few years to realize this, and I'm not alone in that. It's a very human thing. I've been what did I do? I don't know how I managed to do this, you know. I managed to do everything on my list and watch 2 Chinese vertical dramas about men and women realizing that who in their life actually cared about them and had their backs and stuff like that. So funny. And then they were reborn and had a second chance, and then they realized, wow, this person really hated me, huh? I'm just like, wow. Thank you, Jesus, for giving me discernment. And I'm still learning. I think that's part of the human experience. So, I might as well just talk about it. I am finally receiving the opportunity to do an intensive in Chekhov, and I'm really excited. As I've mentioned on other videos on this channel, I'm on an F1 visa, and I have more skills than, and I'm kind of overqualified for this visa, and I knew that coming in here to the US. You know, actually, I didn't even think I would move here. I literally, when I came here, I'm like asking myself, why am I here? Why am I here? Part of me, no, not anymore. It's taken me 2 years to come to terms with living here and being happy with it. I earned my talent visa in the UK through achievements in the computer science and technology industry as a software leader. And I can't use those skills on an F1 student visa because I'm here as an actor. It would be out of my industry. And so kind of what happened was a series of events that led me to this realization that, yeah, I am ready to receive real income. Like, not that other income is not real, but not real as in that other income is unreal, but like serious, like not even, okay, I don't even like the word serious. What is the word I want to use? I'm ready to receive big money. I'm ready to bring the energy. And I also accept that this is kind of out of my control as well. You know? How interesting. I kind of feel like, well, it's not a bad, it's a similar example. I'm just going to use the example, but my context is in a different way. You know how like animals have this deep knowing when change is going to happen in the climate around them, right? I think we are, as animals, we as human beings call this thing gut instinct and intuition. So I am at this point where I realized I am the one holding myself back in a way. And in this video, I want to let that go. I want to stop holding myself back. Because I'm used to bringing the energy on stage. I'm very happy playing the person. The last role I did, oh my god, I love her so much. I did Henrietta Jensenius in Smash by Jeffrey Hatcher, directed by Giovanni Ortega, for our first year rehearsal project. And for me, I took that as the opportunity to apply everything I learned in terms of technique. Because for me, the other things, like performing on stage, is not new. The technique and the approach from first principles as an actor, living the imagined, created life of Henrietta through this very grounded Stella Adler technique, that was new. And so I took the opportunity to be like, okay, I'm gonna focus on that. I just focus on applying my technique. And I love Henrietta so much, but I don't care how many lines she has. I don't care how much stage time she has either. Even when I was a dancer, yes, my goal has always been to be the one that's remembered, the one that makes people feel something here in the gut. Just feel something real, like a human connection for the life that I am compassionately being the vessel of. Yeah. And also, it would be nice to be able to live doing what I love as an actor. That's why I don't know if I archived the video or if it's still on my channel, but literally, when was it? A couple years ago. Yeah, a couple years ago by now. I read China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan, and I fell in love with the title character, Colette. She's like the villain you love to hate, I was like, that's the real, oh my gosh. Like, if there was a play, I want to play that, but I don't think I look anything like her in real life I don't think I'm what the author intended. Oh my goodness. Ever since I read that quote, as the author intended, it's stuck in my head. And the technique that I learn and I focus on is really dedicated to embodying the character as the author intended. So, focusing on the details of the character's life and imagining them with such compassion that we are able to embody to the best of our ability what the author intended, regardless of how we actually physically look. So anyway, I just find that whole phrase I don't know why I feel a sense of joy. Like, I just feel really cheeky and it makes me laugh, dude. This makes me laugh so hard. Why? Anyway, why do I find it so funny? Yeah, but I know, like, if there was a film version of any sequels or prequels, I'm probably not someone who looks like Colette. I'm way too tall, firstly. And I do not look like a Chinese Weibo influencer. Yeah, billionaire heiress daughter. I really don't. Do I? Let me just look at her. She's really like... I look more like the... If there is a wealthy person I could play, it would probably be those like low-key secret tech billionaire kind. You know what I mean? Usually those people have old money or are connected to old money through VCs. She's speaking from experience. Yeah, so I think if I were to ever receive the opportunity to actually even audition for someone in that whole universe of characters, I would want to be one of the Singaporean Chinese people, because I am Singaporean Chinese. Now I know why I thought about that phrase. As the author intended, I'm actually of the right demographic. You know, I'm of the demographic in the book. As the author intended, lol. I can't with that. Are you telling me, Uncle, you are Singaporean Chinese also, is it? It makes me so annoyed. It makes me really annoyed still. But 我就收起我的小孩子气 No, it's not even yeah, not even 小孩子气 my 小脾气收起你的小脾气不说了But this phrase is gonna be with me for a long time. She needs some humor because it's really driving me up the wall right now. 老天爷 Speaking of that book, how does Astrid do it? How does she do it? I need to go and learn. I need to go and ask my sister what she does. So, don't worry about the money, but focus on the craft. Just focus on the craft. It's like a piece of advice that I received that I'm still working through. I think there comes a point in every actor's life, you know. I think this is something that I need to say in public so that the universe knows 我在听天在说我在听 like I'm listening, you know. I decided to stop hiding behind the anonymity of the stage. And this whole exercise and experiment in social media, doing it in the way that is aligned for me, caring more about human connection over fast fame and virality. What if I don't want to be a virus? You know, what if I don't want to be a virus? I don't want to be a problem. I want to be a solution. Like, what if I want to be part of a cure? You know, what is the word for that? It's not going viral, you know. What is it? Because if there's anything I learned as an actor, is that words create worlds. That's a phrase from Diana Castle. I think it's from one of her podcasts or audio lectures. Or maybe I heard it from her in a workshop. But just changing the words we use sometimes in a sentence can change the way we see things entirely. And respecting the text as the author intended, using the words as the author intended on the page, there's a real significance. Using the punctuation even, gleaning the meanings from the stage directions as the author intended brings parts of ourselves that we may not have even imagined before, you know, as actors. And I signed up for that when I committed to this path. I decided to stop hiding my creativity and my passion and my love for this craft in characters that I was creating to fill my desire for financial stability and wealth, and to build on generational wealth. Even though I'm not a Rockefeller, I'm not a Vanderbilt, I'm not a Bezos or a Musk, you know, I'm not, and you know, but I don't want to be one of those 啃老, you know, those 富二代 who just like, I know these kind of boys. Even Crazy Rich Asian talks about these boys in the book. You know, I know these kind of boys. You think the boy who wants me to like, who's making fun of my monoliths, who's talking about my mole behind my back just because I rejected him, you think all these boys are gonna be the solution, you know? You think they're not eating their parents' money? How many of them are gonna be more entrepreneurial than the person who is giving them the money? Very low percentage. Very low percentage. And as a Chinese woman, I know how to 算账, you know? I know how to look at a ledger and evaluate the family's assets. And if you actually just watch a Chinese drama, like a guzhuang, like a traditional Chinese drama, actually that's what the Hou Gong does, you know? That's, you know, like, that's why they got so many women, you know, the women are the ones doing the household ledgers. So all this stuff about men controlling the money of the household It's actually quite new to me. It's not really my culture, actually. Something I realized. It's a shared pot. So I don't want to be like those boys. Even the boys who have more than me, you know? Even the boys who I watched having more than me. Feeling intimidated for some reason of me. By me, I guess. Honestly, this entire video has been very stream of consciousness. My entire filming style right now is very stream of consciousness. I'm working really a lot on just receiving and going with the flow of life and being. And I think in a way that is feeding my craft. One of the biggest pieces of feedback I received was, or one of the, yeah, not biggest. It's big for me because I spent months deciphering this piece of feedback. So one of the most confusing pieces of feedback I received was do less. And then what? So then I realized, over time, I was like, okay, I'm going to effort less and be more. And then I realized that is the difference between screen and stage. I'm still digesting food that I ate about 4 hours ago. Excuse me. And earlier today, I made a final decision on the final 4 photos that I want my headshot photographer to retouch. In this 4th round of headshots that I'm investing time, money, savings into, in the 4th city that I'm trying to do headshots in. London, was not my market. Singapore wants me to be a producer more than an actor. New York is very Broadway, which is fine. I prefer musical films and musical theater, And now I'm in LA and I'm in love with this city for what it is. I love the proximity to the canyons and nature and going on my little walks up the hill, up the canyon. It's not even a hill anymore, okay? on my hikes, on the trails. I love being so close to Napa Valley, even though I haven't been there in years. But just knowing that I could go there in a few hours if I wanted to, and when I have that availability in my budget, it makes me happy. Because I can just go to the supermarket and see like good Californian wine for really good prices, like $6-7 can get a good bottle of wine, you know. I'm like, wow. my Singaporean foodie self is coming out now. Like, wow, so good you can have good wine for like super cheap, bro. But you know, I do miss my hawker food. I miss eating appam. I miss having prata. I miss having is it orlot? I don't know how to say the intonation anymore, but oyster omelets, you know. Sadness, cry. My $5 food. I miss laksa. I miss laksa so badly, you know. I miss the cockles and the laksa. Very sad. I miss the healthcare system. I was gonna say I miss the doctors back home, you know. Every time I come here to the West, I really miss Singaporean healthcare. I just miss it. I don't even feel like I need to go to the doctor, but for some reason I just miss it. Especially because, right, I found out my insurance doesn't cover a lot of things, you know. Then you ask me pay insurance for what? Why want me to buy insurance and then want me to buy out pocket also? Huh? And then the quality in Singapore, so much better. I'm very sad. It's very frustrating. So, and the kicker is, right, I'm not allowed to until I switch my visa on my own accord. I cannot use my tech skills to participate in this economy yet. And then, right, if I go and apply for a job that will sponsor me my visa to work on my tech skills, you think I'm gonna have time to go to acting courses, to be an actor, to actually receive the roles and commit? And don't tell me I can do both and be a double lifer, because I tried that. If I actually do release, I probably will at some point. If I do release the video journal I created today, things I wish my younger self knew, things I wish I could talk to my younger self about, you will see this girl was not just a double lifer in the past. She was working like 3 jobs, like 1 full-time, freelancing on teaching coding, teaching dancing, competing, on top of just being a software engineer. And then by right, coming into this industry 3 years ago, I wanted to go part-time and get a part-time tech job, but the universe was not aligning it for me. It just wasn't working out for some reason. And then I fell into this producer, director, and then actor sort of position in Singapore. And I felt like I wasn't growing anymore. I felt like I was doing too much, so do less, right? Do less. I don't know what to, you know. So then, yeah, then you know, I guess I will come out and say it, okay? So earlier in this video, I talked about not knowing how long I was gonna be here. I still don't know. I still don't know how long people ask me how long am I intending to stay in the US. I really don't know, you know. 你问我，我问神呢。我老天爷 I'll ask God, you know. Ask God, how long do you think your path for me in this country is? I can take out the dollar bill and show you what what it says. In God we trust. You know. You asked me 我真的不知道 because I didn't know I was gonna move here. You know? I 火墩墩的 thought I was gonna come here for 10 weeks and then don't know, I literally had no plans after that. I was just like, okay, well, I want to grow as an actor, so I'm coming. There was no more runway in Singapore, really. I tried everything. I submitted to like major local agencies. I paid for my own headshots out of pocket for the second time at that point. My coaches were telling me I was overqualified for the market, so I could just go and do it. I really didn't need to be a professional student. And then, yeah, I came here, did 10 weeks, and then decided, you know, I wanna finish learning the technique and the modules that are associated with the technique. So I stayed on and I did the first year of the program. Life works in mysterious ways. Might as well just say it, right? 我父母老了 Parents want to retire already, you know. And by legal right, they're already retirement age in Singapore. So, 不想啃老 I don't want to eat into the older generation. But I really feel like I'm at a crossroads. There's nothing more I can do for my acting career. I wrote, directed, and produced and acted in a short film, which was a dark comedy satire. I call it The Crazy and the Rich Asian. Lol. Yeah, it is a satire. It was so dark. But it's also about mental health, to be honest. And I still don't like it. You know what I mean? 我自己嫌弃自己的 I still look down on my own writing and what my own film. I judge it, even though it's not my job to be judging it, but I think actually that's my own analytical brain being afraid to be seen in that way. I think especially because like some people ask me whether it was autobiographical. And I was like, no. My dad is nothing like this. My dad is a humble scholar, you know. Humble man. Worked his way up through scholarship and merit and hard-earned labor, work, mental labor. So it's nothing like the characters I created, actually. And it was kind of more of a satire of relationships I'd seen growing up, that I just was like, I don't understand why you guys are together, you know, but I do at the same time. Like, I have compassion for you, but also I kind of feel like, 为什么你这样? Like, why do you put yourself in such a situation? And so I put it into a play. And then also I put in elements from real life. You know, I tailored each role to the person playing the role, so that as actors, when we were using our own props, there's actually a significance and a connection personally to the character. So obviously I also included a lot of my own props and my own costumes. It was a really good experience in indie filmmaking with other actor friends and students. But I think it really is personal for me. So what I did end up doing was I took clips from what I made and I put it into my reel, because I was like, well, you did it. You made a film. You produced it. And here you are editing it too. You hired contractors. You paid them. You were the boss. Nobody likes to be a pioneer. Not until after the pioneering is done. That's when you enjoy the life of a pioneer. If the pioneering was successful, then as a Chinese person, you know, I'm very proud of my work, very happy to be a pioneer. But during the steering of the ship, during the construction of the ship that you are steering, no, it's like 真的很吃苦, you know, 吃苦. And then as an actress, you have to wear so many hats when all I want to do is act. I'm not about that life anymore. So 我觉得我做了我能做的，我都做到。Okay? I have to manage my own self. Yeah, literally the number of like reps that I've met with who want to stay in touch but not collaborate with me is weird, you know? 在等什么啊？我真的不懂，我无语。It's over my head at this point. I'm like thinking, yeah, I'm thinking like, I guess I'll talk about it. I went for another workshop about building your dream team of reps, right? Agents and managers as an actor. And I asked my question. And, you know, the lady who answered, she was very brave, so kudos to her. But she said, you know, I was like, I don't understand what I'm doing wrong, you know? I'm putting in the work. I'm asking the questions. I've done I've done 4 rounds of headshots in 4 cities. I've been in acting classes. I've been working on my craft continuously. I have stage credits. I have my own short film credits. Heck, I've appeared in other people's short films. I have the resume, I have the bio even. And I was just like, what more? And then I asked her, I was like, I feel like the people I've met so far are using my visa status as an excuse to not partner with me. And then, well, she said to get your to then just work on your work authorization. Get the work authorization first then. It's a chicken and egg situation, is it not? In 2025. I'm not looking for a shortcut. I'm just looking for the opportunity in my situation, you know? Because if I'm being honest, okay, let's say I'm not allowed to work on off-campus jobs that are not approved by the school. Let's say I can only work on campus. Is that even going to be barely enough to cover my living expenses in LA? I don't have a car in this city. I'm okay with it, to be honest. I've been getting by. The other day, I didn't even know how I was going to get toilet paper. A few weeks ago, I went for a memorial service for a classmate who passed and a friend who passed. Like classmate and friend who passed, right? And my senior felt so bad for me, he bought me a burger. Okay? I think that, because I realized that, because I was checking my bank balance in US dollars, like how much US dollars I had. And I realized that he was able to see it because I was like, why are you being so nice to me, Suddenly, did he think I was grieving or something? And I realized, no, it's because your phone brightness was too bright. Girl. I've never been in this sort of situation before. But what it has done for me is it's made me even more resolved to be so committed to my craft that they have no choice but to pay me. You know? To be so committed to being good at what I do that I can bring the energy and carry a film. So all of this stuff I'm doing now, I guess it's just practice, it's just practice. I'm just here existing on the internet on a camera little phone screen. Okay, law, exist law, be, do less, be more, right? Because yeah, I don't think I need to repeat something, but I mean, I've said this in a couple of my other videos. Like, I don't have those privileges that people of other races may have, where they can take under the table work, get paid in cash, and get away with it. I don't have the audacity that some men have to do that too. And I consider that a violation of my boundaries and integrity as an artist. And also, it's kind of a distraction, you know? So yeah, I would rather do the inner work. And instead, and every time I catch myself going into a panic, when, like, for example, when I realized I was gonna be out of toilet paper in 3 days, I was panicking. I was like, where the heck am I gonna get the money for this? And a couple days later, I received a gift from family. That was kind of nice. And what did I do in that moment? Because so many people have similar stories. Some people have way more dramatic money stories than I have, you know? Like driving in your car, living out of your car, and then finding like you need to attend, you know, like you need $1,000, and then you just are at your wit's end, and then you receive it out of nowhere from the kindness of a stranger's heart. Like, okay, wow. If the universe can really look out for those people, I guess the universe can also look out for me lah, you know? But I feel like I'm just gonna say it. I don't know what's next. I just know that I'm gonna be in New York doing a Chekhov intensive, and I need to book flights. I managed to find somewhere to stay, and that literally was a lot of work for me. And I've done so much research on what is legally within my rights to receive income on my current visa. It's insane how much work I've put into my current situation. And maybe that is my lesson, you know? I think as humans, we sometimes get into this spot where we do everything we can and everything that's in our control, and all of the things that are just not in our control are just not in our control, and there's nothing we can do about it. And it's very strange for me to be in this situation where my income sources are just out of my control. my ability to earn more in this industry is really out of my control. Truly. Because, yeah, these people want to stay in touch. By the time I get the visa I need to do the work I want to be doing in this country and to keep working, like, it's very easy for me to get an LLC, to incorporate, to even like us get an AI assistant to do a lot of the things that some of these managers and agents do. So by that point, right, in order for me to get those talent visas in the US, like, when I receive those, like, literally some of the criteria is like awards and recognition. Okay, like, you want me to get awards in a film but without your help, and then you want me to come back to you after, is it? So then why would I come back to you? What value are you bringing to me that I didn't do by myself, or with help of my family, just being my cheerleaders and supporting me and caring for this life that they brought into this world? Like, what confusion, I really don't understand. Because by that point, the jobs that I wanted to get with your help, I would have gotten by myself, So is this a challenge? Right? Are they saying that they want to watch me do it by myself first? Then by that point, 我的名声就 like I would be meeting better people. I'd be meeting better agents by that point, better managers, and then all this time when I needed the help and the resources and the connections and the social capital, even. Where were they? I know it's not even personal, right? Because, yeah, like, I can't give someone confidence and gumption. I can't make someone a risk taker when they're not. You know what I mean? I can't teach them, I can't teach someone to see something that they can't see. That's not my job. I wouldn't be. They're not paying me for it. Like, so funny in this industry. So funny. If they see you as someone who has 名声, like reputation and power and influence, you are their client and they are working for you. If they see you as someone who's not there yet, you are working to get their attention. Or are you? Questions. Or should you be working for the person who calls you their client? Because then you should be calling them boss. They should be calling you an employee. If they want to treat you like an employee and call you employee law, otherwise why call you client? They don't make money until you make money. They can go and make money in a job where they can treat employees like employees and clients like clients. In what other industry? I think that's something, yeah. That's something that I have to say to my, my parents were not wrong. When they think there's some question marks here, If I'm writing a piece of software and I have a client, they're paying me money. yes, you know, I can I can create a product with like custom add-ons based on how much money the client is paying me, but they are ultimately a client, they are a customer. I'm not gonna go and make them act like an employee just to earn my attention and my time and my presence in their life so that they can be connected with my software. What kind of a dynamic is that? What kind of dynamic is that? I'm very confused. I've seen so much of that dynamic. It's very strange. Because, okay, like, I'm not asking to be 太后, you know. I'm not asking to be 太后娘娘. I'm not asking to be some princess, queen, whatever, you know. But in a healthy client relationship, customer, right? Like, maybe it's because I'm used to the software engineer mindset, product engineer mindset, where yes, I talk to the clients about their requirements and what they need and what they're looking for in a product, and I take their feedback. And yes, we still have a core product. This is our core service, and we're not gonna bend over a big, you know, unless there's a really, really, really strong case that this core service should change its entire mission. Then yes, I will take the feedback in with the product managers, with my CEO, you know, I talk to them. Like, but I'm not gonna make my client work for me. That's very strange. I would never do that to someone who's paying me. You know? Who like, we earn a cut of whatever they are, you know, earning. Very strange, you know. I really don't understand this kind of... Is it exploitative or not? Is this normal? Strange. And maybe that's why they want to stay in touch. They don't want to tell me upright. They think that I am too audacious for them. Maybe 我看穿了, you know? 也许是我有眼光，我已经看穿你. Like, I really saw through it. I think, and then it's really like Empress New Clothes kind of thing. Maybe for some of them, maybe. Because there are certain things in certain contracts, you know, like, that I just don't think are normal. And I think, like, are you God or something? I understand if the creator is inspiring you, you know, and leading you and has blessed you with the social capital. But we are human beings. Ooh, I don't want to go into it too much because I just know, you know, I know that it's my frustration and my question marks, my confusion, my genuine, like, need to understand humanity a little bit more. Yes. Actually, it's not that. It's more my need to understand, why is the creator giving me these experiences when 我们两个都知道, we both of us on this equation, we both know that 我已经看穿了, I already know, I can see through it. Like, why bring it back to me? Like, give me something new, you know? Oh no, I asked for it. I asked for the new doors to open. I'm scared now. I'm scared. I'm nervous. I'm anxious. I'm having a human experience on the internet. This is very vulnerable. Because I suppose by this point yeah, it took me like a month to objectively look at my headshots from a commercial managerial perspective and detach from the craft and the actor's nerves and the inner child and the inner artist, and put on the adult hat of like, okay, if I am my own manager and I know this market, what characters would she be able to sell? And that's been very helpful. I think today, I'm looking at my modeling digitals, and I did a test shoot. I don't even know why I did it, to be honest. I looked at those digitals and I don't see what people are seeing. I really don't. I don't understand how people can look at me and ask me if I'm a model, because I look at those photos, I'm like, this is a model? She's not the kind of model I grew up looking at. I don't know if she will ever walk down a Chanel runway, you know? Or like be able to model for Bulgari or Cartier. I look at those pictures and I'm like, what did they see in me, huh? But maybe I just don't know enough about the industry yet to know what sells, to know what is commercially viable in the modeling industry. But I felt like I should do them. I felt drawn to this photographer in specific and her work. And I was like, you know what? People have been telling me to try this thing for a long time, so try law. You know, people have been asking me, are you a model, for a while now, and I have no idea how or what and why. But YOLO, you know, I'm gonna live. I'm going to live. I don't just want to exist. I want to live. I want to be. And then also, I think one thing I have been doing is I decided to tell the universe, if it feeds into my acting, I'll do it. I'll do it in a way that it feeds my actor self. And it's not a distraction. Because, yeah, now actually I'm thinking about it, this one exercise we did, the first time I cried on stage as an actor was out of compassion for the character and the circumstances and the life and the struggles of that moment. It was grounded in truth, compassionate truth. Those were real tears. And the character I crafted is not dissimilar from the from this version of myself that I'm bringing to the internet now. It's not dissimilar. But her story was entirely different. Yes. And she was a model. guess there is something here for me to explore from an artistic perspective. And I'm gonna give it a couple of days and go back to those digitals and look at them for what they are, business cards. I really, really want to be able to sustain and maintain a car in LA. I want to keep living here. I love living here. I love the energy of this city. I want to be able to go to the beach, you know, whenever I want to. I want to be able to drive to Napa Valley and taste some great wine. Have the happy hour oysters, you know? It's so cheap compared to Singapore. Oh my goodness, oysters here are so cheap compared to back home. I'm here, I might as well live. I want to be able to drive to the hot pot place that's like almost an hour away from my home, and then go to the Chinese supermarket and put Chinese goods from the Chinese supermarket in San Gabriel Valley into my trunk and drive home and eat good Chinese food. Honestly, I kind of want to move as well. I want a better apartment compared to what I have now. I love what I have now. I think I've lived into it for the last 2 years, and it's time, you know, it's time to graduate this phase of life. So I'm not gonna focus on worrying about the money. I'm gonna focus on embracing the wealth in everything around me, everything that I have, and in the hope and the faith that this profession will feed me the same way that I feed it, you know? And the faith that the universe, the source of all creation, will provide for my needs and desires so that I can expand my container and hold space for more and be more and shine and reflect more of God's light, for lack of a better word, you know, God's light. Be the vessel. Because yeah, I've been cleaning the pipes in this vessel. I've been removing the rusty parts, and I'm kind of waiting for an upgrade. I'm waiting for the new parts to come in, metaphorically speaking. It's making me very anxious. So thank you for being here with me and paying some attention with your time. All right. I think I've said everything I want to say. Good night. See you.